Welcome back to Photo Finds. I am your host Kevin Yee, and this week we are going to spend time only in the Magic Kingdom's new Fantasyland construction area. We begin over by the Tomorrowland Speedway, where you can see the Dumbo building has taken on some colors, which has probably been apparent from some of the updates you've seen over the last couple of weeks. I haven't really dwelled on it, however, in recent times. Now, this is the walkway next to the Mad Tea Party, and this is a new pavement, actually. We've talked about that previously. The Dumbo building has gotten more of a covering now, and they were pressure washing it. The Dumbo ride itself, this is a look at the mechanism from over the fence, and this is the newer one. The older one is not that elaborate or ornate yet. This is the older one, which, as you can see, they are repainting as they go, and you can see some of the grime from when it was used in its older location back by the castle. Now here's a view of what was once the Barnstormer, the Great Goofini. This is taken from all the way over on the other side of Fantasyland, but we'll zoom in just a moment here, and you'll see that they've got kind of an outline of the goofy ears flying through, so that was something that was part of the Barnstormer as well. Next to all of this is the tent that looks a little bit like Space Mountain. There's another tent, in fact, over to the side of it. These will be the merchandise tents. There's another view of that same tent, and the covering at the top here looks a little bit like a cross certain times of the day. We've pulled back the angle a little bit here from Central Fantasyland so you can see the scale and size of everything, including the big crane which dominates the skyline at the moment. You can see that the walkways are a little bit more narrow than they had been in other times during the construction of New Fantasyland, and that's because they're working also on the Snow White mine ride, although there are no pictures to show you of that yet because there's nothing vertical going on there. It's still just a ditch. A peek over the fence from a distance here at the Beast Castle and various elements of Belle's Village, and then the Little Mermaid ride. Now, these turrets were shown to you last week a little bit blurry. We're going to zoom in a little bit more here on the turrets, and you can see some of the show elements on this side of the fence there. Here's a close-up of one of the turrets, and we'll get a little bit closer in still, and you can see that there's a lot of fine detailing, even some shadings of color, to really make this look impressive and as real as they can possibly make it. Now again, here's another section where they've got articulated bricks, and they've really taken their time with the ornateness of the, presumably that's metalwork. More on Belle's Village, two views of it there. Those buildings have been going up for some time. Now, we showed you these chimneys last week, but they've been painted and given some more elaborate theming around the outside in the past week, so I thought I'd show you that. In particular, this one with the painting, I don't think that was anything other than just gray last week. Now, we're standing next to Pinocchio Village Haus here on the left, taking a picture of this wall. This wall has been here for some time and under construction for some time, but it's peeking over now better than it has been in the past, and you can really see some of the features that make it look like it fits in with Cinderella Castle. Here's a reverse angle, the backside of that same wall. Now we're walking next to Pinocchio Village Haus on our way to the restrooms, and you'll notice something in the back here. Yes, it's a brand new wall. It was not there before, and we're not exactly certain what this is. It looks like it's meant to be just a recess, but they've kind of covered it up at the moment so people don't stand on this spot here and look over into the Fantasyland construction. We are walking now through the rest of Fantasyland towards Liberty Square and Frontierland. Peter Pan's off on our left, and this was once the Skyway area. We're going to show you several photos of the construction now. So you've seen this hill previously. It used to have a lot more trees than it does have now, so a lot of the timberline in the back has been cut down. And this view from above, you can see that they've really taken out any kind of not just structure, but even the support and the foundation that was there before. This is all in the process of destroying little remnants here of this bridge and river system. Another view of the hill over at the top, looking in sort of all directions at that dirt hill there, and they've kept the bell tower. That's nice, and then this little sod-covered building at the front. Here's a view of what's inside the tower. So it looks like they've had to get a little physical with breaking stuff up, but it looks like they're going to leave the structure itself there. There's some of the earth-moving equipment lying right behind those fences. I'll look back at the main hill, and you can see they've got some of these surveyor flags lying around at the top. And this spot here is actually the backside of the pet cemetery at the exit to Haunted Mansion. So there's a close-up of that zone there, and you can see they've really taken out a lot of the trees that used to be there, and there's some of the stumps that are left there now. So if they're going to tunnel their way over here to give another access point into Liberty Square, they had to take out, obviously, the trees before they could remove the earth. That brings us to the end of this particular week's worth of updates. We'll be back next week with a different look at something new in Central Florida, and probably return to Fantasyland when there's more physical construction to look at. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by as always.